Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Vavatu Tat Vaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we were at a verse, so I'll just summarize it a little bit because it didn't get recorded last time. So in the previous verse, we saw that Bhagwan, in this Taittiriya Upanishad, the teacher is telling the student that this verse was Sukrutam. Remember that word Sukrutam, well-made, self-made, though that was a word. And he's saying that, so it starts with, this verse starts with that, that which was self-made. So that he's talking about the world. So he's saying that this has rasa in it. Rasa is all the joy. Means, we, all of us, any living being, at the core of it, we all want happiness. We are joy-seeking people. That's why जो भी हम करते हैं उसका हम चाहते हैं कि फाइनल रिजल्ट आई वांट टू बी हैप्पी, राइट. सो जितने भी हैप्पीनेस है, और उसको रस बोला है बिकॉज जैसे कोई चीज़ खाते हैं तो टेस्ट रस होता है उसमें, वी फील गुड, तो उसको वैदिक लैंग्वेज में दैट जॉय को रस बताया गया है. सो वो रस जो है ना, वो ब्राह्मण की वजह से आता है. हम लोग को लगता है कि इट इज़ इन दी थिंग्स, बट इन रियलिटी every kind of joy is coming from that Atma ka joy only. And we saw the whole mechanism is like that when we are too agitated in our mind, when we have a desire in our mind, मुझे ये चाहिए, mind agitate हो जाता है, हम दुखी हो जाते हैं, और जब हमें वो चीज़ मिल जाती है तो agitation कम हो जाता है. That's why we feel happy, because वो जो आत्मा का सुख है वो ऊपर आ जाता है, वो ढका हुआ नहीं रहता, ऊपर आ जाता है. Because anything, if we get outside in the world, where do we feel happy? We always feel happy within us. So all it is happening is agitation is down. There are two things it is proving, that all the joys in the world are that Atma ka joy. That's what we are actually seeking. But we are seeking at the wrong place, the wrong method. It's like, the joy का जो फाउंटन है वो हमारे भीतर ही है. इफ वी कैन कनेक्ट टू दैट, वी विल गेट अनलिमिटेड जॉय. वेदर बाहर कुछ भी हो, भाड़ में जाए, फिर बाहर का अंदर. दैट्स हाउ दोज पीपल आर, बट वी डोंट नो हाउ टू गेट देयर येट, बट दैट्स द गोल. ओके, सो देन ही इज सेइंग दैट, एक स्टेटमेंट उन्होंने दिया कि अगर वो जॉय नहीं होता ना, तो जीने का फायदा क्या होता. That's what they're trying to say. They're taking a little negative approach, but they're trying to say a point. And then they, people who get very, very depressed and they want to end their life, they wrongly feel that they cannot find that joy. That's why they do it, whatever their approach they take. So we all are joy seeking, and that joy is, it says over there, it is in the cavity of our heart. It is within us only. So that is the most important thing, take home message for us, that joy is coming from Brahman. Then Brahman is my own nature, and I have everything within me only. I may be seeking it outside, but I need to find the method to keep my mind peaceful, quiet. Then it will automatically be happy and joyful. That's the whole idea of this verse.
Okay. So Mahi, all these self-realized people, they are full of joy all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, nobody can shake their joy. That's why those other things don't bother them. Sometimes you might see them, like, remember we were discussing that Sarvapriyananji was talking about this fellow who was like had a lot of health issues, and he was very old, and he was literally on his deathbed, and somebody asked how you are doing. So he said, as far as my body is concerned, I'm very much in pain, but I am very happy. I'm in bliss. So that's what it is. Okay, Anil ji, go for it.
This, which was self-made, that is taste, joy. Having obtained this taste, man becomes blessed. For who can breathe out and breathe in if this joy were not there in the cavity of the heart? The Brahman itself brings us joy. The oneness of the created world and the Creator is nowhere in any other philosophy so beautifully brought out and so perfectly conceived as it is here. It says that the pluralistic world, finite in nature, pain-ridden in experience, imperfect at every stage, when we try to grasp it from the level of our body, mind and intellect, is itself nothing other than the supreme, perfect, full of a vital, experienceable bliss essence, Ras.
So he's just telling you that how do I explain this? So when we identify just with our body, mind, intellect, equipment, we feel this world is pain-ridden and there's so much. But if we learn to connect to that Brahman and drop this identification, then Brahman is full of joy and rasa only. So Vedanta is trying to bring us that knowledge that, hey, you are one with that. That's what they're trying to say.
There is no sense of disrespect of the finite when we view it after the experience of the infinite. It is recognized and respected, revered and adored, worshipped and invoked, sung and glorified as nothing but the Supreme itself. Here is a positive philosophy which roars its reverence to life, domestic, social, communal, national, and international. Life itself throws with the reality, the pain and imperfections in it are but the ulcers that we have created by our misuse of life, in our ignorance and stupidity. Any temple can become as dirty as a dustbin if we misuse it, as we scandalously do in many of our temples. Similarly, in our irreverence to life and non-recognition of the divinity in human beings, we breed mutual hatred and enmity which molest the social security and the beauty of life.
So Swamiji is just trying to explain that if the world has come from the Brahman, then it is Brahman only, right? And that's why it has to be revered, adored, worshipped. And everything negative you see in this world, humans have created it. Somebody said कि अगर ये जंगल में ना तुम इनको बिल्कुल अकेला छोड़ दो ना, अगर humans interfere नहीं करे तो बड़ी peaceful है वहाँ की life. सब इतना सुंदर सब हो जाएगा. अभी हुआ था ना इधर, जब पेंडेमिक आया था तो हम लोग सब घरों में बंद हो गए थे. किसी ने वो कार्टून भेजा था ना कि सारे ह्यूमंस बंद हो गए अंदर और एनिमल्स स्वच्छंद घूम रहे हैं. इतना सुहावना मौसम, क्लाइमेट स्टार्टेड बिकमिंग better and everything started becoming, because humans have really made a mess of everything. That's what it is. So I think that if you are making a mess, that's your fault. It's like Ganga. Somebody was saying, oh, Ganga इतनी गंदा है वहाँ. अभी तो खैर वो लोग कर रहे हैं साफ, लोग क्रिटिसाइज करते थे. किसने किया गंदा? तुम जाके देखो जहाँ से गंगा आती है, एकदम प्योर है. That water is like crystal clear. पर जैसे वो बहती है तो नेचर में थोड़ी डर्ट वगैरह आ जाएगी. ह्यूमंस आर द वंस हु हैव पुट पता नहीं क्या 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 उसमें डालते जाते हैं. Somebody was saying that they closed this beach, Imperial Beach, because sewage was falling from Mexico. Look at what we are doing to all the nature. And then somebody had posted that. Did they post it in our chain where this Sardarji was saying, saint who is Sardarji, he said that after this person died, he's saying, I want to go to heaven. And God said, What heaven are you talking about? I gave you one already. What did you do with it? I gave you this beautiful earth with mountains and rivers and all that. इतना अच्छा तो तुमको दिया था स्वर्ग. उसको क्या करके आए हो तुम? Why you didn't enjoy that swarg? That's what they're trying to tell you. That it is for our play. Revere it like the Bhagwan only. And then we will not do anything bad in the world.
Ras is that which is enjoyable. It is not a non-existent nothing, but an existent factor. Ras is that which gives pleasure and joy. On realizing this self within, though we negate all objects of the body, mind, and intellect in our transcendence of all the five sheaths, it is not an inert zero, an empty non-entity, but is a positive bliss experience. This idea is indicated by declaring the Atma as full of rasa.
So when he said that the rasa is there in our cavity of our heart, we have discussed it many times that for us, that final experience is full of joy, happiness, and all, because it's a existence is there of that kind of consciousness. But in some other philosophies, they don't have that. Like in Buddhist philosophy, they don't go that far. They just stop. क्षणिक है, दुखालय वगैरह है, you just drop the attachment and that's where it is. But यहाँ वेदांत में ना बड़ा पॉजिटिव है कि तुमको इतना जॉय मिलेगा कि फूट के गिरेगा तुम्हारे में से.
Umanji, in Buddhism, because I always get confused between Buddhism and Vedanta, Buddhism is all about ending suffering.
Correct. So but they don't talk about this joy that much. They don't go from the perspective of consciousness and go backward. They just go from body to the others, and up to karmas, up to many lives and all. Everything is same, the philosophy. They also believe in many lives and all that. They just say that don't have this attachment. They have those 8-fold paths. If you just read them, uska sara Gita mein bhi mil jayega. All the reference, because Buddha talked about middle path. कि ना ज़्यादा इधर भी मत जाओ, उधर ज़्यादा ऑस्टेरिटी भी मत करो और एकदम वो भी मत बन जाओ कि भाई भोग में ही पड़े रहो, बीच में रहो. And that's what Krishna Bhagwan said in chapter 6. The person who eats too much or too little, दोनों problem है. Eat a balanced meal. Sleep also is the same, he said. Have a balanced life, yoga becomes easier for that person. Connecting with God becomes easier. Because कोई भूखे नंगे लोग कहाँ से भजन करेंगे सोचो. Then they will be constantly worried about their. So you gotta have minimum stuff and everything, and then you can do it. So it's the kind of same, but Vedanta talks about that bliss, that it's a positive, much more positive. That's how I look at it. I don't know, how you feel about it. But that's the difference.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because ending of suffering brings you some joy, but not the kind of joy
that they are talking about. Correct.
In the world, living in the various sheath identifications, we come to our share of happiness in contact with their conducive objects. The body is happy in contact with the beloved, who satisfies all its sense organs of perception and organs of action. A beautiful piece of literature satisfies the mental zone, just as an appetizing philosophy, when explained properly, satisfies our intellectual hunger. At all these levels, we enjoy when in contact with their chosen objects, while when we have transcended all these in the experience of the self, in the self, it is possible that a student may doubt if there can be any joy at all. This doubt is cleared in this scripture by its declaration that the Supreme is full of rasa.
So he's just talking about what we discuss, that everything that we get joy from in the world, and that we get joy, right? Little bit. That's the problem with the worldly joy is थोड़ा थोड़ा मिलता है फिर वो गायब हो जाता है. It's a temporary. That's why we get like frustrated over here. But everything that we are getting is coming from that higher self only. That's what he's saying, that the scriptures are kind of declaring that. So we have to accept that. And he just gave 3 different example joys of the body, when 2 lovers are together, whatever joy they get, or in the mind also, that if you have some कोई किसी को म्यूजिक अच्छा लगता है तो when they feel happy in their mind, or beautiful literature is satisfying your mental zone, you're feeling happy, or some great philosophy, we are studying Gita, we are getting joy out of it, right? Intellectual joy we are getting and all that. So that's what he's saying, that at every level we enjoy these things. And then somebody says, okay, इसमें बोला ना transcend कर दो सबको. So somebody might think, oh my God, if I transcend, then will I lose all this joy? That's the fear people have. Will I become nothing? Because in Buddhist philosophy, they call it shunya. And nobody wants to disappear in shunya. We want to be there. So he's saying, घबराओ मत, ये सब छोड़ने के बाद तुमको इतना joy मिलेगा कि तुम, एकदम भर जाओगे joy से. So that's what they are trying to tell you.
Mahaji, is also temporary joys versus permanent joy.
Yes, exactly. So you are like connecting to the source of joy. Yeah, that's what it is. So you can pull it out anytime you want to. If you're
This can be observed in life when we observe a devotee closely. A Christ in rags, a Buddha under a Bodhi tree, a Ramakrishna in the Kali temple, a Vivekanand on the cold railway platform in America, a Guru Govind Singh encircled with danger and threat to his life at every moment, a Ramatirtha in the valleys of Himalayas. None of them could, in any sense of the term, be conceived as having been provided with any reason to be happy or joyous, and yet these are the rare ones whom we see through the books of history, who wore their eternal smile at the perfection achieved, the contentment gained, and the tranquility established.
So giving an example that, look, these are the people, and if you look at their lives, they were not that simple. And there's a lot of talk about even Krishna's life. He was born in jail. I mean, come on. हम लोग का जब भी बर्थ होता है तो घर में कोई कितना सेलिब्रेशन होता है, वहाँ पर वो बेचारे डर रहे थे इसको मार ना दे कहीं, और कहाँ जेल से भगा के लेके गए, आंधी तूफान आया हुआ है, ये वो कितना ट्रबल. एंड देन शुरू से राक्षस से आते जा रहे. एंड देन ही हैड टू गो, leave his family when he was a teenager, go take care of his mama who was dusht and all that, all those things. And then Mahabharat war he had to take care of and all that. So same thing. But there was a मुरली उनके हाथ में हमेशा दिखाई जाती थी. कितना किसी ने बोला कि एक भगवान ऐसा है जिसको रोते हुए कभी नहीं किसी ने देखा, and that is Krishna भगवान. Eternal smile. राम भगवान को भी दिखा दिया रोते हुए जब उनको सीता को उठा के ले गए थे, तो वो the whole prasang is there, that how he was crying. But कृष्ण भगवान को किसी ने देखा रोते हुए. So
we see on one hand a rich spendthrift seeking perfect joy through sensuous objects, sighing and weeping, while on the other hand we see another declaring his consummate satisfaction with the limpid depths in his peaceful look and the endless smile on his loving lips, who has none of the sensuous objects around him. We have therein surely a practical demonstration of what the Upanishad explains, that the experience of this self in this self is a positive joy. So perfect in itself that all the sensuous objects put together cannot ever give even a trace of its eternal perfection.
So he's just explaining that, the worldly things people may have, but they are more, जितना ज़्यादा इकट्ठा कर लो ना वर्ल्डली चीज़, उतना ज़्यादा पेन बढ़ जाता है लोगों का, फिर रात को नींद नहीं आती है, how to take care of it, and all that. So then it looks like glamorous, but it's not. But on the other hand, these people who may have nothing, but if they are connected to that, self, they are going to be fully joyous. And we have seen that, so much.
I have to give you a very silly example here.
Sure.
I've heard from some of my friends that they want to move to a bigger and better house. They can afford it, they have the money, but there is so much junk in their current home, they dare not move.
Because they can't get rid of that junk. Attached to the junk, exactly. And the funny thing is, I'm meeting more and more people now who are like in their, like elderly life. And now they are saying, oh my God, I have to downsize, man. And this is becoming a pain for me, my house. I just want 1 bedroom apartment, and all that. Something, it's like you realize that too much thing is just after a while start giving you pain. And somebody was saying, अगर बहुत सारी चीजें इकट्ठे कर लेना उसको डस्टिंग करने में भी एक्स्ट्रा टाइम लगता है. If you have less things, his life is much simpler.
Imagine sometimes the garage is so full of junk that your brand new car, you have to park it outside.
Yeah, we don't have a brand new car, but we have the same issue. Because जब से हम लोग move किया है ना, वो कई boxes ही नहीं खुले हैं वो. 8 साल हो गए. It's bad.
Having experienced this spiritual center as one's own essential nature, that individual becomes blessed in the sense that thereafter no circumstance can give him any sense of imperfection or sorrow. When the teacher has explained this much and tried to express the glory of the spiritual experience, he being one well established in it, he naturally shoots himself into that memory of lived joys and so explodes in a general statement. In this outburst, we hear echoes of the teacher's desperation at the incapacity of the language to express the infinite Brahmanand Ras, which he wanted to convey through his students to the world at large.
So basically, what first thing he's trying to say is that once somebody connects to this kind of, to that consciousness or self and all that, and the source of joy, no circumstances will give him sorrow. And that's why in Bhagavad Gita, going back to it, Krishna Bhagavan has mentioned it many times, this concept. He told Arjun, don't be grief, don't have grief. And then he told the whole method. And then there is a verse also that nothing will shake you once you connect to that higher. So it is possible. That's number one. And then he's just saying that, at our level, when we have not experienced that joy, we cannot appreciate that joy. But the people who have, they are struggling to explain it to you. And in this Upanishad itself, they are going to try to explain to us, and when we go to other future verses. But this person is, the way he burst out is, hey, और दुनिया में रखा क्या है अगर वो joy नहीं होता तो, that's what I think they're trying to explain this last thing when he said that, you won't even want to breathe in and breathe out if the joy was not there. So that joy is the main thing that we all want, but we just don't know the ultimate source of joy. So that's what he's talking about. It's already time up. So maybe we can read, because there's still 4 or 5 paragraphs and we won't be able to finish it today.
You want to finish it?
Huh? I think.
Okay, should I finish?
But there are many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs.
Okay,
so
next time.
Because it otherwise gets too heavy.
Sure.
Any question though? Question or comment about this infinite source of joy? हम लोग
people who have everything in terms of worldly things, money and everything, they go to swamis and temples only for looking for this kind of joy.
Yeah.
Because
right. Yeah. It can give them comforts, but comfort cannot translate into a joy,
Right.
because there's something more. We all are craving for it. And somebody said it very nicely, because our very nature is that infinite joy. That's what we are craving for. हम लोग को छोटी मोटी चीजों से satisfaction नहीं होता है. unless we reach to that infinite joy, we will always be striving and craving. That's why nothing is enough in the world. Right? Even the Puranic stories, धरती का राज्य मिल गया तो फिर वो उसकी नजर स्वर्ग पे है. स्वर्ग का भी चाहिए. It never ends, the desire.
उसमें insecurity बहुत होती है ना.
Yes, yes.
जो है वो चला ना जाए.
Because everything is finite and we are craving for that infinite.
Right.
You know? And that infinite, जब तक infinite नहीं मिलेगा, हम लोग का शांति नहीं मिलेगी हम लोगों को. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know? So Bhagwan is saying how to reach that infinite in this life itself. That's what he's trying to tell us in Bhagavad Gita, and that's what this teacher is trying to tell also. But पहले ये मानना भी तो पड़ेगा ना कि है joy. उसके लिए वो convince कर रहे हैं बेचारे बैठ के. Even मानो है. You know? अभी हम लोग को doubt हो सकता है.
When we look at these Swamis and like Swami Vivekananda, so that's when we realize he is in so much joy with nothing, and
Yes.
we are suffering with everything.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So they are the one who give us inspiration, and we start believing in it. But like how Nikhilananji was saying, sometimes even to appreciate them, you have to have a little purity and all, because you see, sometimes उनके भी पीछे पड़ जाते हैं लोग. उनको भी मतलब गलत साबित करने की कोशिश करते हैं. कृष्ण भगवान को तो छोड़ा नहीं था. You saw that शिशुपाल कितनी गालियां दी उन्होंने.
लेकिन the beauty of this is they were not affected at all.
No.
कोई कुछ नहीं करता.
Because it's like if somebody has got everything, why do they care?
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't care at all. Okay. Any other person has any other question, comment before I close? Okay. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. I said the other one, but I'll say Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhaved. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I had too much Krishna Bhagwan on my mind. Anyway, all right. Jai Shri Krishna, everybody. Hari Om. Hari Om. We'll see you next time.